Back in Workspaces, the code that validates the information entered into the form can be found in suggest.php near the top, inside the conditional that checks if the request method is post. If one of the fields is blank, we echo out this message and exit, stopping the rest of the code from executing. Instead of echoing out this message, let's put it in a variable called error message. We'll also remove the exit. We have 3 total checks, one to check that the required fields are entered, one to check that the spam honeypot field is left blank, and one to check that the email address is a valid format. Let's make these same changes to the other 2 checks. We used to exit when we found an error in one of these 3 checks, so we only get to the next block of code if we did not encounter an error. But I've removed the exit commands, so that's not the case anymore. We now need to write a conditional around the next block of code to make sure that it only executes when there are no errors. We can check if the variable error message is set. Is set error message. If it's not set, then we know that we did not encounter an error. So let's add our negation operator. We will then execute the code to send the email. Let's indent the rest of this code block. We only want to execute the code to send the email if we did not encounter an error in any of our 3 checks. Inside this block of code, it's still possible to hit another error. When we call the send method, it will return false if there's a problem. If there is a problem, we want to set an error message. Instead of echoing out the error with the exit, we'll set our error message. And once again, we'll remove the exit. Before, we only got to this code that redirects to the thank you message if we did not have an error. Now we'll get here anytime. So let's move things around a little. Let's change our conditional to check if the call to the send method was successful. It's good practice to end the script as soon as possible to make it easier to follow the flow with less code. Since our redirect essentially ends the code on this page, let's move that code to handle the redirect up inside the conditional. Now, if the call to the send method is successful, we do the redirect and exit. If it's not successful, we set an error message and then continue with our script. We could put the error message in an else block, but that's not necessary because we are leaving this page completely if our condition is true.